Picture this. Quiet morning, Bon Temps, Louisiana. And then, bam, you stumble upon this car, looks at a place, you look inside, and there's a body, Lafayette Reynolds, dead. That's really where our deep dive kicks off today. We're not just, looking at a murder scene. We're pulling apart this really tangled supernatural mystery stretching from small-town Louisiana clean over to Dallas.
Yeah, one of our listeners shared these excerpts from Living Dead in Dallas. Now, it's fiction, but it's just packed with these fascinating insights into a world where, well, vampires, shapeshifters, even ancient legends, they're all real. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding the rules, the players, everything.
Exactly. And this isn't just about, following clues to find a killer. It's about exploring how these personal connections, sometimes unexpected ones, they suddenly expose these deep, often unsettling truths. We're looking at a world with blurred lines, between good and evil. There's prejudice, betrayal, and some, let's say, unique forms of justice. You'll get the key players, their motivations, without getting totally bogged down in every single page turn. So let's start back at that shocking discovery. Bon temps. It's Sookie Stackhouse. She's our main character, the telepath who finds Lafayette. He was the cook at Merlotte's, known for his burgers, Lafayette, and also for being openly gay, which, in that part of northern Louisiana at the time, was, well, not always easy. So finding him dead in Detective Andy Belfleur's car, it's immediately a huge deal.
And Sookie's telepathy instantly gives us this raw insight, doesn't it, into the police response. You've got Sheriff Bud Dearborn, Detective Alcee Beck on the scene. But Sookie hears Alcee's thoughts, his deep-seated prejudice about Lafayette's lifestyle, even these, frankly, ignorant fears about AIDS contamination. It just slams you with how societal judgment weaves itself into everything, even a murder investigation.
Yeah, that layer of bias is right there from the start. And then Sookie, she remembers something Lafayette said. He'd been bragging, maybe a bit too loudly, about going to some biracial, bisexual party. And that little detail, it's not just town gossip. It feels like the first real clue, pointing towards maybe a motive, or at least a very secretive social circle. It definitely sets the stage for, bigger secrets. But before that investigation can even really get going, Sookie's own life is suddenly in danger. She's out with Bill, her vampire boyfriend, and they're attacked violently in the woods.
Right. By this woman who seems almost feral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way the car just stops, the whole fight, it feels, planned, orchestrated, not just some random mugging.
And the attacker actually identifies herself, calls herself a Maenad, like from ancient Greek myth. Except, well, here, she's very real, very dangerous. And the attack isn't random at all. She says it's a message for Eric Northman. That's Bill's vampire boss, his superior. So, boom, this local attack is instantly linked to a much larger supernatural power dynamic.
It escalates fast. Sookie's badly hurt, rushed to Fantasia, Eric's bar.
Yeah.
And the healing process is intense. There's this dwarf vampire doctor, Dr. Ludwig, multiple transfusions of vampire blood from Eric, Bill, others.
Yeah.
It really shows you the kind of extreme measures and, frankly, the weird biology involved in their world. What they'll do to protect, maybe not Sookie herself, but her value to them.
And that incident, her injury and the vamp blood healing, that's the direct trigger for her getting loaned out to the Dallas vampires, Area 6. They need her telepathy, her special asset, to crack a case for them. So you immediately see these different vampire groups, Louisiana, Dallas, they're connected. They operate independently but share this code, and they have real influence, moving people like chess pieces.
So the trip to Dallas, it's already strange. Bill's traveling in a coffin, obviously.
Yeah.
Sookie's dealing with her usual travel nerves. And then, right away at the airport, an aha moment, or maybe an oh crap moment.
Yeah. What happens?
This guy dresses as a priest, tries to grab her, just tries to abduct her right there. But he bolts the second Bill shows up. It's a clear sign someone knew she was coming, knew about her abilities. Sets a really tense mood from the get-go.
Definitely raises the stakes. So once they're actually in Dallas, they meet their contact, Isabel Beaumont, and the head vampire there, Stan Davis. And the mission becomes clear. Find a missing vampire named Farrell. And to do that, Sookie needs to interrogate the human staff at this vampire bar, the Bat's Wing.
Right.
Which, tells you something about how vampires operate. They use human resources pragmatically. They're trying to keep their own house in order, even if their idea of order is pretty harsh.
And we see how Sookie does this. Bill's encouraged her to refine her telepathy, her gift. She can sort of lull people into this trance-like state. She uses it on Bethany Rogers, a waitress. And she finds out Farrell was last seen heading into a bathroom with some blonde vampire. Guy had tattoos. It's effective, but you can tell it takes a toll on Sookie.
It does. And then the really chilling part is what happens to Bethany. Sookie gets the info. Stan agrees to protect her, but She's found dead later anyway. Yeah. It just drives home how dangerous it is for humans mixed up in this. Vampire protection isn't foolproof, maybe not even always the priority. And it also connects back to Hugo Ayres, Isabel's human boyfriend, who we later find out was betraying them. He passed info to an anti-vampire group.
Which leads Sookie right into the lion's den, basically.
Yeah.
She and Hugo go undercover at this anti-vampire church, the Fellowship of the Sun.
Run by Steve and Sarah Newland.
Exactly. And everything about the place screams fanaticism. The sign outside, only Jesus rose from the dead. Steve's car has a bumper sticker, take the UN out of undead. It's aggressive.
And the Newlands themselves, they put on this charming face, right? But underneath, it's pure darkness. And the Hugo reveal is shocking. He's Stan's lawyer, Isabel's lover, and a traitor. Why? Not for some big ideological reason, it turns out. It's because he's addicted to Isabel, to the unique sexual experience with her. It's a really stark look at how personal desire, addiction can lead people to align with these really extreme hateful groups. Betrayal isn't always about belief. Sometimes it's just about grieving.
And things go from bad to worse. Sookie and Hugo get captured, locked in the basement. And Sookie overhears Steve Newland laying out this horrific plan.
Well, he's it.
He plans to tie her to the missing vampire, Farrell, and burn them both alive at dawn, publicly.
Huh.
For his congregation, for the media, calls it a powerful statement.
Yeah.
Just a pure, calculated fanaticism. Yeah, chilling. Yeah. Okay, so things look incredibly bleak. Sookie's trapped, facing this awful fate. She's being threatened by this big Fellowship thug, Gabe. And in desperation, she just calls out to Farrell, the vampire she's supposed to find, says, "Stand center."
And that actually does something.
It does. It wakes up this other captive vampire, Godfrey. He's ancient, calls himself a renouncer. Basically, he wants to die by meeting the sun. But hearing about the plan, the human sacrifice, he's appalled.
Wow. So even a vampire seeking death has a line he won't cross.
Exactly.
It's this fascinating moment of morality from an unexpected place. Godfrey actually kills Gabe, helps Sookie get out, and gives her crucial intel on the Fellowship's plans. It shows that even in this dark world, you find these surprising codes of honor, these unexpected allies.
So Sookie's injured. She's desperate. She reaches out telepathically to Barry, this bellboy, back at her hotel, who, surprise, is also a telepath.
Another one, okay.
Yeah, Barry gets rid of Bill. And then, out of nowhere, this staged car crash happens, and Sookie is rescued by Luna Garza, who reveals herself to be a shapeshifter. This opens up a whole new layer to the hidden world.
A whole network, right. Luna explains they call themselves two-natured, and they have people strategically placed in human institutions. Like, there's a Dr. Josephus in a hospital. They do it to protect their own kind and sometimes others who are in the know, like Sookie. It just blows the doors open on how complex the supernatural society is. Vampires aren't the only ones organized, not by a long shot.
Yeah.
It's much more diverse, more interconnected than you first think.
Okay, so Dallas is, let's say, resolved for now. But the original mystery, Lafayette's murder, is still hanging over everything back in Bon Temps.
Right, that's still unsolved.
So Mike Spencer, he's the local funeral home director, he invites Sookie to this. Well, an orgy at Jan Fowler's lake house. Sookie sees an opportunity. She actually takes Eric, the powerful vampire sheriff, as her date, pretending he's bisexual, essentially using him as a bodyguard.
Bold move. And smart. Straight into the heart of that secret circle Lafayette mentioned.
Exactly. And once she's there, she uses her telepathy, dives into the thoughts of everyone at the party, and she finds it. The horrifying truth.
What did she uncover?
Mike Spencer, Tom Hardaway, his wife Cleo Hardaway, Jan Feller, the host, and this guy Eggs Talley. They were all involved in killing Lafayette. He'd apparently threatened to expose their activities, these parties, so they silenced him permanently.
So that's the answer. Brutal.
But just as Sookie processes this, she shows up again. The main ad, Callisto, drawn, as she puts it, by the violence of sex and the reek of drink.
Oh boy, not good timing.
Not at all. And Callisto drops another bombshell. She calls Lafayette a lesser child of mine, says his death was an offering. And then she describes in chilling detail how Mike and Tom beat him, knelt on his chest until he died.
Wow. So Lafayette had some kind of connection to this ancient being.
Apparently. And the main ad doesn't just reveal things, she delivers judgment. Swift, vicious. She induces this primal madness in the partygoers.
Madness, what does that mean? It means a bloodbath, a complete massacre among the revelers. It's ancient justice. Primal. Nothing like human law, nothing like even the vampire's code. It's raw, terrifying power unleashed.
And in the chaos afterwards, Bill, Eric, and Sookie find the proof. Lafayette's wallet, his bloodied clothes, all stashed in Mike Spencer's car trunk. Undeniable evidence for the police.
Yeah.
Finally clears Andy Belfleur's name and closes the case. Officially, anyway.
No.
Of course, actions have consequences, especially in the vampire world. After Dallas, Stan Davis deals with the fallout from Hugo's betrayal, and it's harsh.
How harsh?
Isabel, for bringing the traitor Hugo into their circle, is chained up with Silver, starved for months. And Hugo, he's chained right next to her, forced to endure his addiction, his craving for her, but completely unable to touch her.
Oof. That is, yeah, that's brutal. Vampire justice is definitely not like ours.
Sookie actually questions Stan about it. Points out that, in human courts, Hugo's actions wouldn't get nearly that severe a sentence.
Which raises that fundamental question, right? What is justice in a world with so many different beings, different codes, different histories? Is it ever truly fair? Whose version gets enforced? It shows justice isn't some universal constant here.
Meanwhile, back home, there's personal stuff, too. Sookie confronts Bill. She's seen him meeting secretly with Portia Belfleur, Andy's sister.
Mm-hmm. Suspicious.
Turns out Bill says he was investigating weapons used by the Fellowship of the Sun stuff. Portia, as a lawyer, helped him get leads on. And, okay, maybe he admits he was also kind of testing Sookie, seeing if she'd get jealous.
Relationship drama persists, even amidst supernatural chaos.
Seems so. But it leads to this moment of honesty between them, right after all the intensity. And it does seem to deepen their connection, complicated as it is.
And then Bill shares something really deep. A secret from his human past, connecting him directly to the Belfleurs.
What is it?
During the Civil War, he tried to save a wounded Confederate soldier, a Belfleur ancestor, Jebediah Belfleur. Bill's own human friend died trying to help.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's this centuries-old connection. It explains why Bill was maybe surprisingly willing to help Andy earlier, despite their usual friction. It just highlights how deep history runs, how interconnected everything is, shrinking the world in these unexpected ways, past actions echoing right into the present.
Wow, what a deep dive that was. We went from a body in a car in small-town Louisiana all the way to, international vampire politics, ancient Greek myths, literally walking around hidden shapeshifter societies, and all they kicked off by one telepathic barmaid just trying to figure things out.
It really shows how quickly things can spiral, how overwhelming information can get, but also how absolute crucial it is to try and connect those dots, to question assumptions. We've seen pretty clearly that knowing why something happened, not just what happened, can completely shift your understanding, not just of the situation, but of the whole hidden world operating just under the surface.
So it makes you think, doesn't it? In a world where these ancient legends are real, where secret groups are pulling strings, what other connections, what other truths are just waiting to be found right beneath the everyday stuff we see? And maybe put yourself in Sookie's shoes for a second. If you had that kind of gift, that telepathy, what's the one secret you'd be most driven to uncover?